Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. My name is Rabenschild. I did some streams for Keen with the test build, but I never did something on my own. And today I want to do that. We will go and use the Earth planet as a start. We will drop in with one of these pods and then see what we can do. As usual, I will try to do everything in survival, so that might take a while. I'm recording a lot earlier so that I can work on that and do some work to get to the new blocks, take a look at them, and see what difference they make. One thing I want to hopefully figure out and see if we can get that in time is how the different power sources are set up, because there's a there's a ranking how the power sources are set up, and I want to see how the new ones fit into that. If I think that solar cells and wind turbines should be kind of on the same level, and then maybe reactors, and I would even go a bit higher and say the least in the line should be the hydrogen cells, because their power and fuel usage is very, very high, and they should only work as an emergency source of power, I would say. But let us do that. Drop in with a pod. I choose the Earth-like planet so that we can work with the cells and with the wind turbines and all that stuff. I don't want to go too crazy on me while we do that. I hope this all works out. So one thing I really like, this new pod is something I really, really like. We don't have anything to steer us, so that hopefully this all goes well. We don't have ice totally nearby. That's bad. But here on the planet, we might not even need that. Why? What? Oh no! Yeah, amazing start. An amazing start. Rolling onto our back. That's how this should work. Definitely. Good. The first thing that we can take a look at is definitely, we have a battery. That's the survival kit. So the survival kit as a block works basically now as a block to get your first materials and components to be able to build and do stuff like that. So you can see that it is a production block, but it has different things it can produce. So we are still missing a refinery, but this block can use stone and rework stone into ingots. So we put in 500 units of stone, and it gives us a few ingots that we can use to work with, and then we can produce these components for now. The thing with it is that we kind of have this progression system now that's also new, and in this test version we even have a tab for that, and we can see that if we want to have certain blocks, we need to produce certain other blocks or certain other things. Like we need an interior wall to produce all these nice window blocks and the catwalks and all that stuff. We need a basic refinery to get into the assembler, and we know a basic refinery. So that's crazy. We need a basic refinery to learn a basic refinery, but we have the basic refinery, so that shouldn't be problematic. And with the basic refinery, we go into the normal refinery that the old players know, but maybe new players don't. So I think the progression system really eases new players into the new stuff. So we know O2 and O2 generators. We know oxygen farms. That's weird. I wouldn't have said that oxygen farms, I think they should be somewhere down the line. But if you think that on the moon you might want to have an oxygen farm to work with, so yeah, what we need to find now is stone. We have that, and we need to mine stone. That's weird. That's something you normally wouldn't take, but here we use that. We use a lot of stone. So we have no power source other than our battery. So we might want to go in and do some work. Maybe go and turn off maybe the antenna, and the beacon is off. I want to turn off the ore detector for now, and we have some lights I saw. Okay, these we can, they are turned off. Corner lights, turn them off. There is a hydrogen thruster on board, that's nice. And we will turn off the interior lights to save up on energy. I don't want anything running here that uses up more power than we really need. So first order of business is mine stone and set up maybe, yeah, something like a base that we can then use to later grab stuff like hopefully ice and all these things. One new thing that's here is the trees. They look a lot nicer. The foliage, and I think also the grass, it was worked. there was work done to it. Oh yeah, what I forgot is, you can see we have this as a respawn location. The survival kit also works as a basic medical facility, and we can we will now respawn here, and that's a bit of a change. So as long as this one is active, we will always spawn here. There's tricks you can do with timers to, they kind of want to prevent this this suicide teleport that you can do with different setups. And so the thing is, here with the survival kit, you still can do that. You can turn off the survival kit and then it doesn't work as a respawn point anymore. So do some timer work, and then you can, yeah, respawn and do the teleporting stuff again. Good. Okay, we will later take this thing apart. Yeah, again, order of business now is to grab stone. What I learned is that we should make a bit of a hole down here, and then have the, come on, have stone roll into that hole. I decided to go with a bigger inventory. There was changes to the inventory, but when you go with the biggest one, it seems to not do anything. But I chose to go with the bigger one. On the test service, it's I think 3 times, and for me that's at the moment a bit too small. I don't want to go too hard on myself. I want to be able to work with this. And what one thing we could do is we could just open our helmet. We are on the Earth-like planet, so we can use up O2. Another mechanic that's down there, and I'm pointing towards it, it's below the drill, below the hand symbol. It's warm right now because we are in the sun. Now the suit kind of uses up more or less energy the colder it gets. I think even the warmer it gets. So there's this fine green line in the middle where it's warm and nice, and there's everything's fine there. But when it gets cold or hot, then the suit uses energy to heat you up, cool you down. That's one of the problematic things I think is that yeah, you kind of have to keep checking on your energy now. In space, that's really weird. It would be neat to have something to refill that. We sadly don't have that, as refill that on the go, kind of. It would be neat to have something like a battery that you can take with you to refill your suit or something like that. Good. Let me grab a bit. Oh, let us put that in, and then I can show you what it does. So we have 2K stone. What we can do now is go in here, and we can see that we can produce ingots now. I will do that for once, and that's what we get from yeah, one of these bags from 500 units of stone. Now with this we can work, and we can immediately go and produce stuff if we want that. So, but I will mine more stone and do some more work here, and then come back to you to place the first blocks, and hopefully we can place something that gives us energy. The wind turbine would be nice. That's one thing I want to definitely see. And I want to go in and move the survival kit off of this grid, and then see how far we can get. I don't want to go too far, because at one point progression stops, and then we end up with basically the normal survival that you all know. Something that is new and that I want to test is if it works with a survival kit this way, is that now if you order some things and say I want to have construction components, displays, girders, whatsoever, and you can bring in the numbers and stack them up here, basically it makes the stuff it has the materials for, although there are maybe things that are further up in the line. That's a neat thing, because now it should work that we have missing items here for the stone. By the way, that's one thing I should mention, is that this thing is only able to refine stone. It doesn't refine anything else. It just refines stone. So what we should test is if we can produce now iron ingots with or steel plates with the iron ingots we have, and it should work. Yes, it does. So see, we can just have the number as high as we want. I will just bring that up so that whenever I put stone in there, it immediately gets used up, and now we can produce some steel plates. I tend to keep the stuff, this drop pod, I tend to keep it alive as long as possible. So later we can use up some of the materials that are around, but I tend to keep everything intact as long as I can. Later we will have to find a way to yeah, put this battery to good use, because that's one thing we can't grind down and get the stuff back. So we maybe want to keep it and use it for something else. So first order of business, grab the steel plates and build a bit of a platform. So we will go for a platform somewhere down here. It's a bit flatter here, and then we can just build this out. Have some blocks here, and maybe go a bit up to prepare for, yeah, a wind turbine or something like that. I shouldn't use my my hydrogen too much. We only have a bit of ice, and I don't want to use that up completely. Good. I think I need to mine more stone. That's one thing that's sadly one of the bit more grindy things we will have to do. So mine stone and do that. We don't have a lot of stuff. I will build this up and then see what we maybe can salvage from the drop pod to build up our wind turbine, and then have at least something where we can load our energy supplies, and then we build out from there. I want to take apart this thruster here, or the thrusters, all of them I would say, and build that up. But what we have to keep in mind is that if we take apart this thruster, we will not be able to repair it or build it. sadly it doesn't work. There's no house that house that called. We can't take it apart and then learn it. That doesn't work. The progression says we would have to have a landing gear before we can do anything even remotely close to the thrusters. So next order of business would be a landing gear, then a control station or something like that, or something in this line, and then, or is it a control station? I think we need a control station. So the next thing we would do is take apart the landing gear. We have that. It doesn't matter what size you use. That's a good thing. It doesn't matter if you use the small landing gear or the big one. Just take apart the landing gear that we have on top, build a new one, and then you immediately know all this stuff. One thing I definitely want to have is a passenger seat to be able to reload energy when I have done the wind farm or the wind turbine. So I wanted to take a look if the wind turbine gives us anything when we build it. It does. So it gives us access to all these fine things. So we can then build merge blocks, rotors, lights, the beacon, and doors. I would say this is not all really helpful at the moment. So what we need is wind turbine. A seat would be nice to be able to reload the battery, and then maybe something where we can build a battery. Or should we go for the assembler next? The assembler gives us access to the batteries. So order of business will be wind turbine, a seat, and then the landing gear I will just throw in as a bonus, and then we will go for the assembler. Let us take apart one of the landing gears. We can do that, and then we can just go over here, I would say, and use the landing gear, but we will use a small one and just plonk that down here and just rebuild it. So I have unlocked new blocks, and we can see that now we can make passenger seats and all this stuff, everything that the progression said we can do now. So control stations, the cockpits, wheels, that's good. We could do, instead of a flying vehicle, we could do something with wheels. Parachutes, not so important right now. Another thing I need to do is a cargo container. I could go for a small one here too, because that gives us access to the conveyor tubes and all that stuff. Having a cargo container is nice, because one problem the basic assembler has, it just has one port. So we will have to deal with a bit of piping, let's say it that way. Good, I can take this apart again if I need, and do other stuff. We could bring in the seat. The problem, I think, is that the passenger seat needs... That's the passenger seat. Okay, we have a way to refill our energy here. So here you can see is the normal location, and here you can see there. You can just, let me show that to you. Here there's the usual heart for a medical facility on the survival kit, and we can just use it to refill everything. It refills oxygen if it has, it refills hydrogen if it has. So now we go in and dig in. I want to grab this seat and see what we need to maybe rebuild the... Oh, no. Good. It's good that my inventory is as big as it is. So a seat is needed. Just plonk that down, build it. Now, do we have access to new stuff? No, for that we would need the control station. Good. I need to do some work on some more iron for us, because we need interior plates for the wind turbine, but I want to at least place it now. So the wind turbine, you can see that is, I think, 3 by 3 by 2, and I have interior plates. At least I had. Lost. Did I lose all my interior plates? I did. I will grab some interior plates. Or did I? I didn't grab them. So at least we can put that down now and then build it. This thing needs to be unobstructed. So if it is obstructed, it will produce less energy, and it needs to be higher up. I'm not sure if that's enough. We will see when it produces energy. Good, let me grab all the stuff to finish that thing. The wind turbine is coming together. The only thing that we still need is computers. That should be easy to produce. I have made this staircase in air quotes up there so that I don't have to waste my hydrogen. I still have a bit of ice left, but I don't want to completely waste that. So can we make computers? 1, 2. We should be able. Or silicon wafers, everything's done. Nice. Good. Let us finish that, then load up our energy with the chair and also take a look how much energy this thing produces at the moment. Ooh, it immediately spins up. That's one neat thing. This thing works all the time when it has wind. So on atmospheric planets with or planets with atmosphere like Mars, the alien planet, or the Earth-like planet, there you have a constant power source even in the night. That's a neat thing. On moons it will not work. There's no atmosphere. But what I don't know, and that will be one thing that we will test another time maybe, or when the full version basically comes out. If these things produce different energy, amounts of energy in different dense atmospheres, because I think Mars doesn't have as dense of an atmosphere as the Earth-like, so I'm not sure how that works there, if it produces the same amount of energy. Good, let us take a look. We only have the seed. Yeah, we are getting energy. The wind turbine, at the moment, it produces 312 kilowatts. I saw it produce 371, so it might have been good to bring that thing a bit higher. That might give us more energy, but I'm okay. 312 at the moment for all the time, for free. That's neat. Sorry for my squeaky chair, but I need to. Wind clearance is good, so it says there is, if it is obstructed, that's neat. Good thing. Yeah, the next thing will be to build up a few more blocks here, go a bit back, and then maybe, how many steel plates do I have? Maybe build up to one of the assemblers, I would say. Let us go a bit to the side and not, is it, yes, 5x5, and then we place down some of the newer blocks down here, I would say. Whew, it's one thing you have to admit is the start is a bit more grindy, because again you need to, it's easy to find stone, but you need to go back and forth. Even with the big inventory, you need to mine thousands of units of stone to produce enough for the bit of material you get. One thing you might want to know is that this progression system, you can turn that off. So if you don't want to work with that, you can just turn it off in the options. Okay, the next thing, basic assembler, and then we go for, I think, the refinery. We could do that all together. So I will try first to have a small cargo container, I would say. We should be able to produce all of this. No, we are not. I think, can we produce metal grid? let us see what we need for this. This is producible, and the refinery is also producible with the normal things. I'm not sure if we can make the metal grid. So let us take a look. We can't make metal grid. So we need the refinery and the assembler first. Good, then that's the next thing that we need to produce. One thing I want to do is I want to move the medical kit now. So not the medical kit, the survival kit. It's with all the function it has, it gets hard to think about what to do next and how to call it and all that stuff. So the survival kit needs medical components. Everything else is done. Medical components is nothing that we can produce. The only medical components that we have are in the survival kit that we already have. So what I will do is I will just dismantle that and grab everything that's in there, and hopefully it's so that we have enough space to grab all the materials here. Now we need to bring that over there. That's the next thing. We need this thing. So step lightly and then we produce that. Okay, so now we can put everything back into here, and now we can use this to produce our stuff. That's good. Now I can dismantle more of the ship, because now the only thing that's on there that we might want to keep is the oxygen generator. I will just leave that on here for now and use it to refill my bottles. An oxygen generator is one of the next things I want to build on here, but the good thing is that we don't need oxygen, or we don't need too much hydrogen at the moment. There might be different priorities for different planets. So here the oxygen generator is something that we can work out later. On a moon or on Mars or on the alien planet, you might want to immediately go for that and not for don't know, the refinery or something like that. That's one thing you might want to keep in mind, that it would be good to strategize a bit before you just start to build. So the O2 generator, can we build that? We can build that with all the stuff that we can build with a survival kit. That's a good thing. Energy we can still get. We don't get oxygen, we don't get hydrogen, and I don't care for now. So I will grab more stone, put it in here, and produce all the materials that we need for the assembler and for the refinery. I think I will go for the refinery first, then for the assembler, so that we can get to it. Next thing then is definitely a cargo container here, and maybe an O2 generator here. Good, more work. I went for one of the unknown signals, and one thing they changed with them is that now the new small battery that they have introduced, and that's one thing I wanted to get to later, but now we can take a look at it. It's a small battery for small grids, just one block, one by one, and they changed out the reactor for that. I think that's good. On the other hand, it was always nice to just grab the bit of power that you could grab from them. But I can definitely live with that. I will grind down this thing, the few power components, the few power cells that are in here. I don't really care for. Good. One thing that we have now is we have the materials for a small cargo container, and so I will just place a small cargo container, use that for now on the ship, and then on the pod, and we get the immediate progression from that. So that will be nice. We took a look at the progression, so I will just do that and work a bit more until we can get the assembler and the refinery going. They are close to completion, but I need some few parts I need. We should have all the materials now for the basic refinery. That this is done and we can finish it up. And we also should have all the materials for the basic assembler. So that's done too. And we have new stuff that we can build. Let us take a short look at it. By the way, if that takes too long, it seems to take very long, I will maybe make a second part of that so that we also can take a look at the new engine, the generator, the hydrogen generator. So I think that's a thing that we should do too. We can build now the medical room, the normal assembler, that's good too, but I think we need a lot of stuff for that. And what else? The refinery gave us the assembler again, a drill, that's good. An ore detector, we can build that now. That's one of the problems. If you don't have that thing, we have an ore detector, again, we cannot work with it. We can't rebuild it. We would have to leave it on whatever it is built on and then build around it. And that sadly doesn't work too well. So let us take a look. What do we need? Should we go? I think we will go for a wheel-based vehicle to maybe go and mine a bit and take a look. And then with that we might also be able to test out the hydrogen engine. So that's one thing we might want to do, but later. I want to take a look what we can produce now with the basic assembler. We can do some more things. We can produce metal grids, that's good. We cannot do thruster components, so for thruster components we will need the normal assembler then, it seems. And we are able to do atmospheric engines, I would say, but we are not able to do anything that can bring us into space. We can build power cells, that's good. We can make ammunition. And what's the difference? Oh, okay, we can make the tubes now. That's good. The large and the small steel tube, radiocom, bulletproof glass for cockpits, all that stuff. Neat. We can make the next set of tools, also pretty neat. What can we do with the refinery? We sadly cannot see what the refinery can give us. So can the basic assembler also? So the basic assembler is not able to do anything with the stone. That all goes to the survival kit still. By the way, that could be a neat way to later remove stone. If you have too much of it, then just make some materials out of it. The neat thing is, or what gives me a bit of a weird feeling is that I usually stayed away from things that use stone and make materials out of it. I never liked these options. It seems that Keen is okay with it and the amount is not too high, but if you have tons and hundreds and thousands of units of stone, you can definitely supplement a lot of materials with it. So that's definitely something. One thing we can do now is disassemble stuff. That's neat too. We can put in stuff and disassemble it. We can make medical components now, also very good. And yeah, the refinery, can we take a look at it? Basic refinery, it seems, can do normal stuff. Maybe it can't do all the things. So it might be not able to produce all the different blocks. One thing we should build is another wind turbine. We see that this thing needs more energy than our wind turbine spits out, and that should be one thing that we should concentrate on. I think I will split the episode here. I will make a cut here and say I hope you liked this episode. If you did, then please leave a like on it. And then we will meet us on Wednesday with another episode working in here, building up the wind turbines and maybe getting to see what the hydrogen generator is all about, and maybe we can find some ice or something like that. I hope you are okay with that. I will keep these videos separate from the usual series, so the series will then continue on, hopefully on Friday. I don't think that I will put in a lot more, because I just wanted to take a look at the new blocks from a survival standpoint out, and not just put them into the world and see what happens then. And I don't play creative a lot, so let us do it that way. Good people, I think that's all for today. Hope you liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one on Wednesday. See ya, guys.